Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Danny Garola, pinkbarnstamper.com, coming to you from my barn in the nice and warm Tucson, Arizona. So, today it looks like we had the highs of 88. Yeah, it has been very warm, I must say. Hello, Melanie. Are you guys starting to cool off over there? I feel like Mother Nature must be mad at us. It has been extremely warm. Now, I know there for like a short little few days back in October, we were kind of cool. But nope, we are back up in those warm temperatures. There you go. Moving under the fan, right? Yeah, I know. We are still sleeping with our fan on in the bedroom. It does get kind of nice at night, I have to say that. We leave everything open, let the fresh air come in at night because it is cooler at in the evenings. But that being said, the daytimes, like I said, we got up to 88 today. Gross. Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty warm. I was like, I was trying to think, what have we done to make her mad at us that here in the South, we get this really warm heat? But then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, it could be worse. We could be dealing with feet and feet of snow, which, I mean, every once in a while I would be good with. But yeah, I was thinking, geez Louise, we really lucked out this year, and it's kind of a bummer because I do wish it was a little bit cooler. I've got some really cute sweatshirts that I would love to wear. But no, I'm still in my t-shirt's lying. I will just tell you, it says, snow is falling, wine is calling. No snow is falling, but I'm in a t-shirt and I'm in shorts because it is too warm today. I was checking my hair because I just went out and fed all the animals at 5 o'clock. So I was making sure I didn't have a bunch of hay in my hair because when I throw those flakes of hay, sometimes the wind or you'll get a little bit of a breeze and it blows right back on you. And yeah, I get it covered in my hair. Sometimes it gets in my eyebrows. Kind of funny. But anyways, so I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. What did you guys do? Isn't it like mind-boggling that we are already in November? Is that just crazy to think that Christmas is in less than 2 months? Woohoo! Hey. Yep, that was me. I was out playing in the hay. Loving your fall colors there. Yeah, the leaves are changing. I know. That's one thing I miss so much. So me and my daughter, because we don't have the leaves changing here. Shoot, I wish I would have brought them out here. My daughter's DDD worker was just here a little bit ago and I was showing them to her. But because we don't have the fall colors, we kind of improvised, and for a kind of like a science project, I guess you might call it, but more of like an art project, we took coffee filters and I found a like a template of these different kinds of leaves. So there was like a maple leaf, there was an oak leaf, there was just these different kind of leaves, and you draw them out in Sharpie on a coffee filter. Then you take that coffee filter, once you have the leaves cut out, then you take not water, but I'm assuming it's probably water soluble, but it's made by Crayola crayons and they are washable markers. So you take those washable markers and you do your different fall colors on your leaves, kind of like what we do with our re-inkers when you do the baby wipe technique. It's kind of like that, where you color and you drop your colors all around on your leaves, and then you take like a little water dropper and then you just drop some water on there and the colors spread on these leaves, and as they dry, that color really disperses, and they look like real leaves, besides the fact that you can see my black Sharpie around the edges. but they are so freaking cool. Like, I was so impressed by these leaves. So I have those out on my counter in the kitchen, like bar area, so we can walk up and they look like real leaves. And I was like, see, look, we have our own fall leaves. We may have had to make them and they didn't come from a tree, but regardless, they are gorgeous and I love them. So that was our fall kind of theme thing that we did. So we have been kind of getting all of, so what was it on, I think it was Saturday. Yeah, the day after Halloween, we kind of took all of our Halloween stuff down. My husband had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, which was awesome. And so we took all of our Halloween blow-ups from outside, put those all away, and we got the Christmas ones out. Now, the only one that I put up is our big turkey that sits on a tractor, and he's pulling a little wagon behind him that's got corn and I'm trying to think what the other vegetable is on that. Because I know the front has like a pumpkin, but I don't know. Anyways, it's this great big huge, I think it's like 6 foot long tractor with a big turkey sitting on it like he's driving along. So it's out in the front there. And I know when the Amazon people come, they're always like, God, those are so cute. I just like having them. I like pulling up and seeing them sitting out there. It's just kind of, you know, lifts the spirits when you may not be having a good day and you pull up and you see those funny little characters out there all blown up. I like it. So, all right, you guys, I am going to get you guys here on YouTube flipped around. Now, if you're watching me over here from Facebook, I highly recommend you coming over to YouTube and joining us over here. Sign into your account so then you can pop on and drop a comment for me and let me know where you're watching from and what you did over the weekend. So here is something that I do have to ask you before I flip you guys around. Is there anything special that you normally eat or cook on Halloween? Because normally, and I screwed up this year, and I apologize to my daughter, but normally I make a pretty big, kind of like a weird shaped meatloaf. And when I do with that meatloaf is I make eyeballs with leaves of onions, you know, like a little, I just cut like a weird part of the onion out. And I put little like fingers on it. Anyways, I make like a mummy looking, and normally we would wrap bacon over it. We make a meatloaf. So we normally do the skeleton or mummy meatloaf, but I totally forgot this year. There has been a couple of times that you can find it's made by Squid Ink. You know, squid, the little thing that floats in the ocean or swims or whatever it does in the ocean. Their ink, they actually make spaghetti with the dye from the squid. And so, or is it octopus? No, it's squid. It is squid ink. Do squids ink? I'm pretty sure, I swear it. Then again, maybe it is octopus. I don't know. Anyways, one of those critters with little weird tentacle arms on them. We get pasta. Now, normally you have to either order it specialty or sometimes you can buy it at Trader Joe's. And it's black spaghetti. And I'll make that up with marinara, like, you know, tomato sauce. And then I put meatballs in there. And we call that brain matter. That sometimes we'll do that if we're not in the mood for meatloaf. But those are my 2 Halloween go-to meals that we kind of switch back and forth from doing. It's normally the meatloaf though, the mommy meatloaf. That's normally our go-to. But yeah, but this year I completely forgot altogether. I felt like a horrible mom. I was like, that was a bad mom moment. So anyways, all right. Hold tight. I'm going to get you guys flipped around. Again, drop in the comments and let me know if there's something special that you guys make. It looks like Melanie, they do chili. Yum. I could definitely get down on some chili. Yeah, we just found out my husband went to have his yearly, like, annual physical, I guess you would call it. And he had the doctor call back, and he found out that he has high cholesterol. So we are kind of changing our ways of eating, where the doctor told him if he didn't want to get on medication, then he needed to look at upping his protein and definitely adding, or I guess taking away any processed foods, and making sure that we're eating tons of fruits and vegetables. And so I totally love the Mediterranean diet. I think it is probably one of the best diets, and I know doctors normally will agree with that. But it's one of those things where you really have to have a lot of vegetables and fruits and stuff like handy. And it's hard because we don't really live in a state that grows a lot of fruits and vegetables because it is too hot here. Like when we lived in Oregon, we could have a garden and we could have it year round. Well, I guess not year round because it got pretty cold up there in the winter, that wintertime you couldn't. But for the rest of the year, you could pretty much have your own garden. Down here, it's too hot all summer long. So you've really got a short window as far as growing here. But during the fall, you know, even though it's still pretty warm, during this time of year, we get the garden up and going for our winter harvest, winter spring harvest. And we have lettuce growing, we have spinach. I did try during like summer going into fall, trying to do some eggplant, but that just didn't take off. I don't know what happened this year that our garden just really didn't do well. Now, in the greenhouse, or white house, you might call it because mine is white, actually everything in that is doing fantastic. I've got tomatoes in there. I've got strawberries growing in there. I've got basil, sweet peppers, jalapenos. What else is in there? Italian parsley, blueberries. Those are all doing wonderful. So I think we might have to suck it up and get a couple more of those greenhouses and actually put them over our garden beds, because for some reason, it must just be the humidity, because I have a mister that I turn on in that greenhouse, and I'm pretty sure that's probably what keeps everything so beautiful and growing in there versus outside where it's so dry. Okay, so did you guys see what I created yesterday? I was live here on YouTube and Facebook as well, and I created this beautiful 2-page scrapbook layout using my Cozy Christmas paper pumpkin. So this was my alternative for this kit, and I just love the way this spread came out. So I've got 3 places for my 4x6, and then I've got 2 4x4s, so I can put a lot of photos on here. But look how well all 3 of those images fit on this spread. I just thought this was perfect for these little elements here. So if you guys missed that, you can always go back and watch the replay. You can see more in-depth video or pictures of this over on my blog, pinkbarnstamper.com. So tonight I am going to be playing with the Peace on Earth along with the Peace on Earth dies. Now, I will tell you guys and fair warn you that the dies are on back order right now. So these are supposed to come in. I think I read that it was here, let me look on here really quick. I think it's supposed to be the end of November. Let me look really quick here, just so I can tell you when the dies are going to come in. Now, these are not a like brand new product. They have been out for a little bit, and I know a lot of people saw this and really jumped on it when they first saw these, but the dies are supposed to be back in stock the week of November 24th. This set is really, really pretty. And I will let you know that you might look at this and think, you know, Christmas, whatever. But in all honesty, this has got sympathy in here. It's got like new adventure, peace, love, joy with deepest sympathy, heartfelt prayers, peace on earth, big hugs for a good friend. Just some really, really pretty sentiments in this. You've got 2 of your banners here, one that you could do for a background label or banner. Then these 2 little divots right here actually cut out a little cut on the ends, like the very ends of the, I was trying to see if I had one sitting here, the little label here where you can run ribbon, because there is a ribbon. Where did I actually put my ribbon? I'm gonna need that. Where did I, oh, why did I put it away? Who knows? Oh, I think it's because I was trying to clean things up out here. So this ribbon, you could run it behind your little labels, and this ribbon is gorgeous. If you buy the whole suite collection, you could buy these items individually. I just went ahead and bought the whole suite collection because I knew I was going to want it all. But this is Misty Moonlight with that silver little edging on it. It's just beautiful. So that goes with it. Then the stamps and the dies. And you can see with the stamps, this is all sentiments. We also have the Peaceful Greenery 3D embossing folder. So as you can see in the picture here, you've got these really neat, the greenery. And then we've got where our label fits right in the center of this, that you can do some really cool things with it. I'm gonna use this on one of my projects. And then we've got these really pretty embellishments that go along with this. This has got 4 different colors of these like little flowers. You've got the white, the cloud cover, Misty Moonlight, and then the Secret Sea. So they're really pretty as well. We're going to use those. So let me show you guys the 3 cards that we're going to be creating. Now this is my weekly class kit. So when you shop with me and spend $35 or more in my online store, shopdannygarola.com, through the 9th, which is the Sunday, you will get a kit in the mail that will include the paper, the cardstock, the, I don't think, oh, I did use the 2 circles here, so I would include those in there. But you will have to have the dies and the stamp set. Again, I know the dies are out of stock, but you can always get this from me, put it aside, and then when the dies come in, you can always order them. I've had a couple people tell me that they have the stamp set, they're just waiting for the dies to come back into stock. So there's that. There are 2 gorgeous papers that go with this, but again, in my kits, I include the paper. And if it's something that you need to die cut, like these sprigs that are in those dies or these banners, I give you the scraps so you can go ahead and die cut those. So this paper right here, this is all things blue. They are beautiful papers. So let me get a couple of these out here. So we've got this sheet here. These remind me of like hydrangeas, I think is how you say the name of that flower. And then the back side has these neat little stars on it, like a starry night. This one, you've got this really neat leafy pattern. And then some cloud cover on the back. Look at the doves on this one. I really like this paper. I'm actually using this tonight. And then that neat watercolor on the back. And then this one, again, with those doves and the different doves holding their little sprig in their mouth. And the crumb cake. Isn't that pretty together? Look at that. And then we've got this one, and the flip side of that is like a, almost like a plaster, I guess you would say, look to it. So that is that. And then we've got the specialty paper that is this gorgeous glitter paper. It's actually called the Peaceful Garden Glimmer paper. So you Secret Sea blue, and then what are they calling that one? Blue, dark gray, and soft green. That's what they're calling these colors. So very, very gorgeous. Now this, you're gonna get 2 12 by 12 sheets of each color. So very, very fun. This set is gorgeous. So we've got this card here. And this is where I used that embossing folder behind that. Then we've got this one really showing off that paper. And then this one's kind of just a neat little fun fold, just like so. So that's what we're going to be creating tonight for this class. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. So for my first card, oh, wait a minute, that's not the one I want to do first. I want to do this one first. I'm going to be doing this one right here. And as you can see, I put a little piece of that ribbon on there. So I have a basic white thick card base. We're going to go ahead and fold that. Now you will find all the dimensions and the products that I am using over on my blog. I will have it posted tomorrow along with the video that we are creating right now. I'll have the replay up for that as well. I have taken the same size, so a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of white, and I have already ran that through the embossing folder. So as you can see in this embossing folder, you've got some leaves that are lower, and then you've got some of these other ones that are very, very popped up and raised. That's the 3D embossing folder. That's that effect that gives you. So that's gonna go like that. Then we've got 3 of our banners. Now I used the inside one, the smaller one, and I've cut those out in Misty Moonlight, Cloud Cover, and Secret Sea. I've also used all 3 colors of that glimmer paper. And that I used the sprig right here and cut those out. So with this, I'm going to put the Misty Moonlight on there. I'm going to use they're calling that soft green, and then the dark blue is going to go, no. I got these all backwards. This light one is going to go here, and this one's going to go here. There we go. Just like that. So let's go ahead and get those glued. So I'm just going to dab just a couple of dots of glue. When I was creating these cards this week, I just kind of was thinking about my grandma. She loved blue. Blue was really her jam. I remember her driving blue cars. She loved to wear blue. And seeing all these pretty little blues in here just really reminded me of her. Okay, there's that. So now what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to grab my dimensionals, and I'm just going to grab what I have in here. Let's pull these out. I know I've got a bunch in here that have been, there we go, already half used. Might as well get those used up. So I'm just going to flip these over. Okay, there's those. Now, my Misty Moonlight is going to go in the center. Now, the way I am centering this is we've got these 2 raised leaves. I'm going to make sure I put that centered with those 2 spots. It really kind of just helps to keep everything centered so I don't have to measure it out. So I'm going to put that right there and then set that one right like that. And as you can see what I was talking about where it fits with these labels in that white area. So now I'm going to take this one and I am going to just set that right on the edge of the Misty Moonlight. Okay, and then the cloud cover. Do the same thing over here, just lightly lay that on the edge there, just like so. Then we are going to grab our ribbon here, and I'm going to grab my bow jig, and I'm just going to create a small little bow here. Oops. Helps if you hold on to the bow. Well, let's try this again. There we go. That works. Lisa, I agree. I think this is such a beautiful set. I've been looking at it and I've been wanting to play with it, and then it was just never like the time. I was like, okay, we've got Christmas, we've got fall. But now with a lot of things that are going on in life, I need some sympathy cards. So I was like, I'm going to pull this set out. And I know that the dies are out of stock, but again, I know a lot of people already have this set. That it could just be a couple of maybe new ideas of people being able to see this. That, you know, or if you don't have it, you can always wait for it to come in. And look, we have a friend. A little moth came in to say hi. All right, I'm going to use the sentiment that says wishing you. But yeah, this set is gorgeous. The blues are just amazing in this. Oops, well, it helps if I can pick it up here. Come on. Okay, wow. Maybe we need to set this on here because it's just not wanting to stick to my block. It would rather stick to my desk. So I'm going to grab Misty Moonlight ink. And I'm going to stamp this right on here, wishing you. Close this before we make a mess. Okay, I'm going to grab my card base. I'm going to actually adhere this straight down on here before I attach any of that. So this set actually came out kind of early for us as demonstrators because this was a part of our Creativity Now stamp set that they had used during Creativity Now. Okay, make sure that's nice and flush with my card base. Okay, then I'm going to grab some of my little glue dots here. But first I want to take my little label, my sentiment label, and I'm just going to cut this down just like so. And I know I set those out here somewhere. We're going to use the little ones on this. And I'm going to flip that over and I'm going to put 2 of the mini dimensionals on that. Yes, and unfortunately, we've got some sympathy cards we need to be sending out right now. And if you know, you know. So that was another reason why this set really grabbed my attention, is because I've got some sympathy cards that I need to make, and I hate making sympathy cards. I will be the first one to admit it because I know what they symbolize. But you know what? It's real and it's tough and it sucks, but they can have some gorgeous cards to look at. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little bow. I need to fix this over here because this kind of got out of control. Okay. And I'm pretty sure, Lisa, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to name drop. I don't want to say anything because it's very real and it's very raw. And my heart goes out to the family. And we love and we support her, so. And see, and it's so weird because why does it always seem like, and maybe there is a good reason for it, but I always wonder, why does it always seem like death occurs so frequently around the holidays? I don't know what it is. My grandma passed away like right after Thanksgiving. I think it was like December 2nd or December 1st or something like that. I remember her being so chipper during Thanksgiving, and then like after Thanksgiving, it was almost like the calm before the storm, they say. So it was one of those things that she just had a really good time, and we got to spend that time with her during Thanksgiving, and then she just didn't make it to Christmas. And it was hard because we had already bought in Christmas presents, and so we had to figure things out, but whatever. So wishing you peace, love, and joy. I don't know if I put anything in mine. Heartfelt prayers, all the best in your new adventure. I think I'm going to use that, or use wishing you big hugs for a good friend. No, I don't like that. I'm going to do all the best in your new adventure. This one's going to be a card for somebody who is either like moving out, they're going to college. This is going to be an upbeat card. So I'm going to grab Misty Moonlight. We're going to stamp this right in the inside of here, like so. And I think because we've got all these pretty blues on the outside, that we could actually take a strip of this paper, like for instance this one. I'm trying to see if I have a smaller piece here. There we go. That's what I need. And because all my colors, like you could use any of the scraps of this, but I think I'm going to put this down here because this goes really well with that. Like it's got all of your colors in there. And it's got flowers on it. So we're going to go ahead and put a 1/2 inch strip of that paper on the inside here. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Linda. I was so enthralled in my card that I didn't look up and say hi to everybody. And we've got 2 Lindas in here. So hello, both Lindas. Okay, so now I'm going to take that. I'm going to put that inside of this card. It always makes things way worse when it just hits so much harder when our loved ones pass during the holidays. And it's really weird because I don't know why it seems like it happens more towards the end of the year. I don't know. So there is our gorgeous card number 1. wishing you all the best in your new adventure. And it's just got that little pop of shimmer with those sprigs that just makes that gorgeous. Now, let's add some of those pretty little embellishments here. So I'm going to come in with these little white ones. Now with each one, they do have a small and a large of the little flowers. So just like that. Oh, love this. It reminds me of kind of like the 80s. When everybody wore denim jackets. You know what I'm talking about, right? Those are just kind of the stone-washed denim colors. So that is card number 1. Okay, let's do card number 2. So card number 2, I brought in a pop of the pecan pie with this just because I thought it kind of just changed things up just a skosh. Putting some of that kind of brown in there. Oops, I almost just lost my little sprig. Do you see that? I already die cut that. Okay, let's move all my pieces out of the way. There's my inside. So I have a Misty Moonlight. This is the long, so portrait style card. This is 11 by 4 1/4. Okay, so that's going to be portrait style. I've got a piece of pecan pie, and yes, I already have a circle cut out because I cut the circle out for this card, but don't fret. We are going to cover this up with a piece of white anyways, so nobody's gonna know that you were frugal with your paper. So then I am bringing in my 1 3/4 inch punch and my 2-inch punch. Now just know that these punch circles will already come in your kit. I don't expect you to have everything. So we're gonna need that. And then I have a scrap of white that I need the 1 3/4 inch for. And I have already cut my little sprig out, and it's right here. Just this little tiny sprig, and that's in those dies. So let's try not to lose that. And I have the flying, beautiful dove here. And then I've got my piece of white. So then I have cut strips of this designer series paper. So I'm going to place these on here. I actually want the lighter color one in the center. So I'm just gonna place those down where I think they look good and then start adhering those down. Okay, there's that one. And then we're gonna do the lighter one in the center. I just think it kind of separates the two darker sprigs there. Or darker paper. I don't know why I said sprigs because I was looking at this. Maybe that's why. Okay, so that is going to now get adhered to that brown. Now, you might be wondering, why the heck did you choose pecan pie to go with all the blues? Well, if you look in these paper, the little branches that is holding all the little flowery bits together, it is pecan pie. And I thought it just looked so pretty and really made the branches of those little trees really pop out. So that's why I went that route. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add glue to this piece just because I don't want a bunch of glue sticking out the back. So I'm just gonna lay this straight on here, like so. Slide this down a little bit. That's why we love our multi-purpose glue, our green glue, because, well, I guess the glue's not green, but our bottle's green, because we have some wiggle room. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to take this and adhere this right to my card base. Okay, that's gonna go just like that. Okay. Hello, Marcia. Welcome in. Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, I'm gonna take the wings and I'm going to kind of, just with my fingertips, just kind of pull those up a little bit because I want it to look like this bird is like flying off. And we are going to use with deepest sympathy. So this is going to be a sympathy card. And I'm going to grab pecan pie ink. And I'm going to stamp with deepest sympathy on that. And then that is going to get adhered to my pecan circle. Okay, like that. And then our little sprig here is just going to get laid right down like that. Then we're gonna grab our Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to put just an X right like so, and grab my ribbon, and I'm going to go like so and like so. And then I'm going to cut this off down here. And then we are going to pop that up with some dimensionals. Okay, and then that is going to go right down here in this bottom corner. And then our bird is going to get, or dove, is going to get a dimensional as well, right in the center. And then our dove is going to go right like so. Isn't that so pretty? Oh, I love that. Okay, let's grab our inside. Now for this, I'm going to use, need a scrap of this. Okay, and I'm going to cut this at a 1/2 inch. I think I'm going to run this down like that since our paper is running vertical here. Okay. Now, while that dries a minute, we have got heartfelt prayers with deepest sympathy. I think that goes really well together. Hi, Tina. Welcome. Well, I'm glad you caught me live. Welcome in. Okay, we are going to do heartfelt prayers right there. So now we are going to adhere this right to the inside, like so. And there is our beautiful card number 2. But again, we are not complete until we put some of these beautiful, now these are called the Hues of Blue flowers. I kept calling them Hues of Blues, but it's not, it's blue. Okay, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna do a couple different colors, to be honest with you. We're just gonna go for it. I think the white does kind of stand out just a little bit more on this, but as you can see, I've done all 3 of the different colors. Now, if you move that, you can see them, but isn't that so pretty? And it really displays those different papers that we have also. And then you've got the little glimmering sprig here. And of course, that ribbon is to die for, y'all. So there is that, and our heartfelt prayers in the inside. So that is card number 2. Then we're gonna go for our fun fold card number 3. So let me grab that. Now, what I was kind of contemplating, and before I move on to card number 3, oops, that's not the right card. Huh. So when I was looking at this, I had brought out 2 of my other embellishments that had the pecan pie. Now this one will be available November 4th. This is called the Earthy Matte Dots. This comes out in our online exclusives. There's actually a suite of product that this coordinates with, but I love the colors in this. So I was like, maybe I need pecan in there. And then, of course, we've got our natural matte dots that have pecan. And I could have put those on there, but I didn't want too much of that pecan going on because I only wanted kind of the little touch of it to just bring out, you know, the branches in that. So that's why I chose to continue with the blues, or the hue of blue flowers. Don't say that real quick a couple of times. That'll get slaughtered. Okay, let me put that one away. All right, so with this card, we have got our base here. Now, this was a regular 11-inch base, and I have cut 2 inches off of it. And so now I've got this. This is my front flap here. Then I have a piece of my designer series paper. I went ahead and used that lighter since we are using the Secret Sea paper. It is a very dark blue. That I wanted something to kind of brighten this card up. So I went ahead and went with the lighter of the designer series paper. Oh, and I have to tell you, those of you who have already sent me birthday cards, I am loving them. I already have them on display in the house. I will have to bring them out here and share them with you in another one of my videos, because I love to share your guys' projects that you send to me and cards that you send to me with everyone. Okay, my little inside piece, this is 8.5 by 3, scored at 4 1/4. this is going to be my front flap here. So it's going to open this way and then open this way. So with this, I've got the really pretty paper here. So it is the back side of those doves. And that is going to go on my front flap here. And so that will be, aren't those colors so pretty together? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and decorate this. This is my inside piece, so I'm just gonna put that over there so I know where it's at. I've got my bird, I've got my, now this is the smaller of the two banners, or labels, whatever you wanna call them. Right here, it's the inner one. And I am going to stamp peace on, whoops, peace on earth on this. Now if I can find what I did with my, and I'm going to do that also in Misty Moonlight. You could do it in Secret Sea, the darker of the blues, but I just really like the Misty Moonlight. And I'm gonna do that right in the center of this. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I really thought the pecan pie popped on that, with that designer series paper. I agree, Linda. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. Let's go ahead and adhere this inside first before I get too crazy on the front of this. Let's make sure we line this up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my glue on the back of this. And yeah, I went a little heavy on the glue, but we wanna make sure this little inside piece sticks down. So I'm gonna hold this together like so, and I'm just going to line that up, watching all four sides, making sure they're all about the same. And just put that in there like that. Give that a good push. Open it up, really push that on. Here's our little inside piece. This will go in there, but we're gonna stamp on that, so I'm gonna wait. And so that will close, and then that will close. Isn't that really cool? Okay, so now we can add our piece on earth. This is gonna go, now you really wanna make sure you don't go, like don't place this over here. Make sure it stays within that score line, because if you were to fold this and if that was hanging over, it'd get caught and you wouldn't be able to open your card up. So we're gonna put that right like so. Okay. We've got using the soft green glimmer. I did another one of those sprigs, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on this, on just a couple of these leaves. This is going to get placed right like so. So that top portion is going to be hanging, but see, when we open that, again, I made sure I didn't go past that score line so it can open. And then just taking the little wings and the tips of my fingers, I'm just kind of rounding those out. Okay, there's our beautiful dove. And I'm gonna take another dimensional, put that right in the center of the body. And this is gonna go right like that. So pretty. Oh, I love this glimmer paper. I'm telling you, it makes your cards really just pop. Okay, so now on our inside piece, we're going to take love, peace, or peace, love, and joy. And our Misty Moonlight. to straighten that out a little bit. That's a little bit crooked. Okay. And we're going to stamp that right in the center there. Okay, there's that. And we could put another little strip of paper in here, of our designer series paper, to kind of tie the inside all together, because it is very dark in here. So we could take like probably that paper there. Let me find a scrap of that one. There it is. I don't know if that's long enough. Nope, that's not gonna be long enough. So let me grab a different one. Now this, I think I'm gonna do, no, I'm gonna go ahead and stay with a 1/2 inch. I was gonna do a little bit short, narrower than a 1/2 inch of that, just because I gotta have, you want room to write on there, but I think that'll be okay. So what was the, I think that was, that's 4 1/4. So I think I did 4 1/8 in there. Yep. Sometimes the brain works. So I'm gonna actually take that down towards the very bottom. I normally leave a little gap of white, but this time I'm not going to. Now in this card, if you feel like you don't have enough area to write on with just this little thing, you know, you can always take your card and let me grab an innie really quick. You can always grab an innie and put it on the back of your card, and you can continue writing on that. So then when they have their card, it would be like that. And if you didn't want to write in here, you could leave that alone and then put a piece of white on the back, and you could write to your recipient on the back. That's always an option. And then if they want to display it, they can, and not have everybody else on the planet read the inside of their card. I mean, if they have everybody on the planet come to their home or whatever, or wherever they're getting this. So let's take some more of these little pretty gems, and I think we're gonna go with, I think we're gonna do, let's do some of the dark ones. Just like that. Isn't that fun? I love these little fun folds. I think they're really kind of cool and interactive, and you know, your recipients love them as well. So there are our 3 cards for our Make It Monday, November 3rd, using the Peaceful, or Peace on Earth bundle today, along with our embossing folder. So I would say if you don't already have this bundle, then you can buy the paper and the stamps. But then again, if you don't own the bundle and you want to get it, wait until the whole bundle is out, because then you're going to save that 10% on your bundled stamp die collection. So you're saving yourself a little bit of money in that aspect. So there are our beautiful, beautiful cards for this class. Again, this class is available when you shop in my online store, shopdannygarola.com. through the 9th, which is this upcoming Sunday, when you place an order with me of $35 or more, you're going to get a kit in the mail that looks like this, that's going to have the pre-cut card bases. You're going to get all your pieces of designer series paper, and then I will give you scraps for all the pieces that need to be cut with this. But I will include your 2 circles because I don't expect you to have all the things. So just to let you know, this is the kit for the week. Again, this is called Peace on Earth, and God, is it gorgeous. So as always, you guys, create, craft, and spread kindness. We all need a little bit of crafting and a little bit of kindness in our life. So spread it, you know, like butter. I could say something naughty, but I won't. Y'all know where I was going with that one. All right, you guys, do you have any questions about any of this? Again, don't forget to grab yourselves the Hues of Blue flowers. These are absolutely stunning and go so well with this. So if you're going to wait and get the Sweet Collection, it'll just come with everything that you need. That comes out the week of the 28th. So they don't give us an exact date that it's going to be in the store. They just tell us the week that it's supposed to be in stock. So keep watch for it. It is beautiful. You're going to definitely want this in your crafting collection. Thank you, Marcia. I'm glad you think it's beautiful. Is the glimmer paper part of the suite? Yes, it is. The glimmer paper is in the suite collection as well. So everything that's included in the Sweet Collection is the ribbon, the 2 papers. So both the designer series paper and the glimmer paper is in there. The embossing folder, which is the Peaceful Greenery 3D embossing folder. You have your Hues of Blue flowers. My brain just can't with that set or with those embellishments. And then along with your dies and your stamps. But just know, if you go to order this Sweet Collection or this bundle right now, it is unavailable. So just so I'm completely transparent with you guys, you won't be able to purchase it right now. It won't be in the store until the week of November 28th, which is, isn't that what I said? The week of the 28th, which is a couple weeks away, but you know what? As time is flying by us, it's going to be here before you know it. if I'm being honest with you, it just seems like time this year has just flown by. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to tell all you guys. So we went and we saw my daughter's back specialist because I've, shared with you guys that she has really bad neurological scoliosis. So her back is really curved. It's not like the one that, remember when we were kids and when we used to go to school, they would make us bend over and look at our feet. And then they would like run their hands down the back of our spines, which they don't do anymore. But back when I was a wee one, they used to make us do that. But hers actually goes curved like this. Her Scully does, because it is neurological. And so with that being said, she has to have a spinal fusion done. And I've been talking about having it done. So we actually set it up for her to have surgery in January. Now that being said, we have to go in and have a lot of testing done. Prior to that, she has to have a CT scan. So this is the most craziest thing. And I have to share this with you guys because I was like mind blown. Now, if you're in the medical field, this may be like no biggie to you, but I was so impressed with the way that they do this surgery now. He was telling me that when she has the CT scan, she'll have to be put under general anesthesia so she doesn't move, because we all know in a CT scan, you have to be very, very still. Well, with the way her disability is, she has a very, very hard time holding still. She has uncontrollable muscle movements. So as she's in this, they will do a very, very good image of her spine. They then send those images over to Sweden. Sweden will then do a 3D print. So that's normally like that resin that they do a 3D print of her spine. So they will then mail that spine 3D printed of her actual spine to her surgeon. Her surgeon will then spend a couple of weeks meticulously performing the surgery on this 3D printed spine. So it makes errors almost like nothing, because now he's got a perfect replica of her spine. He now will know exactly the width, the thickness, everything about her back, or her spine, that is, to know that he has to have a certain size screw to then go in and hold the rods in place. I was so fascinated by that. So I said, I go, so what do you guys do with that replica when you're done with it? He goes, want it? I go, oh my God, do I ever? Yes, I want that. I'm a weirdo when it comes to medical stuff. I always ask 1,000,001 questions. I want to know everything that they're doing. I'm like one of those, tell me everything you can. So he said that when they use that replica, once they like open her up, they actually put that replica on her spine and set it in place. And then they do the surgery while that replica is there. I was like, oh my Lord, yes, that is a focal, like, that's a talking point in my home. Yes, I want that. He goes, yeah, he goes, you can have it. I was like, sweet deal. So you guys will get to actually see the replica of my daughter's back. Now, that all being funny, haha, and amazing, I'm literally like crapping my pants. I'm really scared to have it done. Now, that being said, I know it's not a matter of if we have to have it done. It has to be done. Her back will never get better the way it is. It will only get worse. And as she starts to curve, and this is why she's pretty much lost the ability to walk as of now, because she's starting to turn her body kind of like a C. Well, that would be a backwards C, but anyways, like a C, and she will eventually start crushing her organs, and her breathing will start becoming compromised because she will start crushing her lungs. So with that, we know that it has to be done. And right now, like he was saying, she's at a 50% curvature, which is a lot easier to correct than if we were to wait. And, you know, she would be older. If the longer we wait, the older she gets, clearly, and the harder the surgery gets. So like he said, if we were to wait for her to be like at an 80% curvature, it's just more that they have to manipulate back straight. And then it's less likely to get it straight. But at a 50% curvature, it's a lot less to have to straighten up, that we could probably get it probably 98% straight. So that's why we're kind of going that route, and that's why we're doing it now. And like he said, with her being her age, being younger like that, they normally bounce back a lot easier. So that's where we're kind of at. So I will keep you guys posted as we go. He said that we will definitely be getting her in soon to have the CT scan so they can send that out and get that replica back so he can start, you know, working on it. So there's that. That's the update on the spinal fusion that I've been telling you guys about. So, all right, you guys, have a wonderful night, and thank you for listening to my stories. You guys feel free to case these cards. They are beautiful, they are fun, and they would definitely brighten somebody's day. All right, you guys, take care. Have a wonderful week. Oh, I was going to let you know, it comes in the week of the 24th, not the 28th. I was wrong. So you guys have a fabulous rest of your week, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.